Welcome everybody to another episode of the Popcorn Watchlist podcast where we discuss and celebrate our favorites in TV and film. I am your host Xavier, and today we are continuing our sort of recommended popcorn watch list. And this week I had the exclusive honor and privilege to recommend one of my favorite movies of all time, and actually one of the most influential, I think, movies of all time. It came out one of my favorite movies. My favorite decades of when movies came out. So this is, yes, a 1980s movie, but it's one that I really feel that everybody should watch just because of its cultural impact and significance. Little known director, some guy named James Cameron, I guess. Some guy went on to make a couple movies that may or may not have grossed $1 billion. Really,
or two,
or three, All together, you have Titanic and both Avatar movies. Not to mention, his prolific screenwriting. But James Cameron kind of hits us in 1984 with only his second film, and he creates what turns out to be this cultural phenomenon that really went on to influence so many others in both the sci-fi and action movie genres. Yes, that's right. We're going to be talking about 1984's The Terminator, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. I was going to call him as Kyle Reese, but no, it's Michael Biehn, who goes on to also do some good stuff with James Cameron. And you have Linda Hamilton just starting off kind of fresh in this movie. A couple others here, but randomly Lance Henriksen. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he is... I know him as Bishop in Aliens. So again, another James Cameron movie, but he's also the voice of one of the minor, these side characters in all the Mass Effect games. Whatever, he's really cool.
He's in the Mario Bros. Movie.
Lance Henriksen was in the Super Mario Brothers movie?
In 1993.
Oh, God. No. Who was he in that movie? No. There's no way. Was he was he the guy who gets turned into a... No, he doesn't get turned into... He devolved into a monkey, does he? Danny, you have to figure this out.
He's the king.
Oh, what? Lance Henriksen is the Toadstool King. That's random. Let's never speak of that ever again.
The Toadstool?
He's the king that basically got turned into fungus in the 1993 movie. I don't think you ever saw it.
No, I haven't seen it, but I know that there's a clip, I guess that's the clip that I'm remembering is Bowser himself.
Yeah, that's Dennis Hopper.
But not... Okay,
yeah, he's not Dennis Hopper. You should also watch Speed. Anyway, back to Terminator. Yes. Hopefully this is the line that we use in the clip for the intro. But yes, this week we're going to be talking about Terminator. I specifically picked this movie because neither Danny or Zach have seen it. And Anthony and I have seen this movie so many times, especially in back-to-back watch marathons for parts 1 and 2. Part 2 we'll get to later, but let's talk about it officially with part 1. I would say, throw it over to the introduction to the rest of our panels. Of course, obviously, you've heard him over. You have Zach. Say hello, Zach. You've got Danny.
What's up?
Our info guy who just came up with the good stuff. And resident statesman here, Anthony.
Nice night for a walk.
Ooh. Already quoting the movie. It's too good. Zach, actually, since you're quoting the movie, what are some of the big, I guess, how you feel is a big cultural impact of what the movie came out to be, its influences going on in the future, but going on with other movies that have come out ever since.
Yeah, I think at the time there probably weren't many, or if not any, movies that dealt with time travel the way this movie did. Because this is what, 84?
84.
When did Back to the Future come out?
85, maybe. Danny, look that up.
But they both did it differently, and this one is...
What about Star Trek The Voyage Home?
So 85 was Back to the Future. Star Trek The Voyage Home.
Is it called The Voyage Home?
Yeah, that's Star Trek 4.
Yeah. Because that was also time travel.
Star Trek IV. No, 86.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that was 86.
So 3 back-to-back years of big time
84,
travel.
85.
I feel like the 80s was very big on the time travel.
Yeah, and it was unique too. It felt fresh. It was you may have other stuff that deals with the time machine. They probably did those the older movies of H.G. Wells and stuff, because that's an old story. But this one did it really fresh, like Anthony was saying.
Continue. It was more adult. So it was a rated R movie, and so I don't know if I wasn't born back then, but I'm not that old, people.
We were born in 87.
My back hurts, but it doesn't hurt that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think because of this movie, as we just heard, most likely led to a bunch of studios going, "Oh wait, no, we gotta do it. Let's do this," and they just started greenlighting time travel movies.
Like how now everything is multiverse.
Right, everything. Oh, we have to create a universe. We have to be like Marvel. But yeah, and then and I mean, it's relevant today, but even back then it was pretty scary where it's like the movie's about how AI turns on humans, and they're like, oof, that's rough, especially when us as a species use machines for almost everything, and especially nowadays we use it even more. And back in the 80s, it was obviously not as much as now, but we thought like, we have so many machines and
robots are cool.
Yeah, they're so cool. Let's use them for everything. And then the movie starts in the future, right?
Yeah, 2029.
Right. So
which is
we're
like
not even there yet.
We're almost there.
6 years.
Well, because that was one of the questions that I wanted to ask while we were on the podcast. Because I waited until now to do it. Was this the first movie to have that concept of AI taking over humans and becoming?
No, Westworld. Technically Westworld. Yeah, which is a Michael Crichton thing. But yeah, so everybody knows the show Westworld, but there was the movie Westworld.
Yeah.
That had Yul Brynner as the Man in Black, and he was like, the robot kind of turning on the humans and, doing stuff. Yeah, Michael Crichton likes, science turning on humans a lot, obviously, with that, Westworld and Jurassic Park. Strain. What was the other one he did? Was it The Strain?
Andromeda Strain.
Andromeda Strain, yeah. Also, I would also add, I'm going to say it, Congo. Yeah, I said the Congo.
I mean, the book is probably better. No, not probably.
No.
It is better.
The movie's great. You shut your mouth. I'm kidding. Anyway, taking it back. Like the whole idea now, people are debating the ethical uses of AI. Like this is the whole thing because people reference, we can't let that go nuts because Skynet. People just mention Skynet. You're like, oh yeah, for real. Like anybody's out here like, yeah, I want to make a project. I'm going to call it Skynet. Everybody goes, shut up. No, burn it to the ground and never come up with it ever again. Like the Luddites had it right. Don't do this. So like bringing it fresh into a movie, I think it's because of that. And where we are from a society now, as well as back then in the 80s, is like it's almost like timeless because there's always that like, hey, we can't go too far because this stuff can grow sentient and turn on us.
Yeah, that inherent fear, like iRobot, is another one.
Ooh,
that's Asimov.
That was an Asimov story. Yeah, that's the whole 3 laws of robotics, which came out obviously before the movie, but it was like this movie kind of really popularized it because of the other pieces that went together to make it really iconic. So it's really awesome. Like because of just the fact that we, everything it created that sort of like, or like it kept going with that sort of subgenre of like sci-fi action, but still kind of a thriller kind of thing. And James Cameron's really good at that.
With like a slasher, almost.
Movie.
It was a creepy movie.
He's essentially Jason, just constantly chasing you.
Yeah, he's
Jason is like a robot from the future.
Yeah, basically he's going down the phone book and killing people named Sarah Connor. Like people are like, oh, we should look into this maybe. It's like, yeah, dude, like freak out. There's so many things about this movie that's iconic. Like Arnold, the Terminator, going back in time and he's, just fully naked and just kills Bill Paxton and steals his clothes.
I didn't know that was Bill Paxton.
Yeah, dude.
I've never seen all of this movie together when I was younger. Like I know I've seen all of it at some point when I was younger because they would always play it on TV. So I'm sure I watched the edited version. So I never saw it from beginning to end until just recently when we were watching it now. So I was like, oh, Bill Paxton. I was like, oh, it makes sense. He's in a lot of James Cameron movies, but
yeah, man,
that's his only his only.
Yeah, he whips out the knife and you're like, oh no, the guy who played Shao Kahn in Mortal Kombat Annihilation was there too.
Yeah. What's funny is that he kind of looks like Arnold, and he was in a few episodes of the X-Files. And I remember when I saw him in X-Files, I was like, oh, this guy looks like Arnold. And then, so when I see him in this movie, I'm like, it's the guy who looks like Arnold.
Oh, man. That's freaking awesome. But yeah, like this movie is so cool. It's really iconic. But the main idea I want to point at, the reason why I picked this is I want to hear what you guys thought of it. Like now seeing this for the first time and seeing this seminal, iconic piece of movie cinema and movie pop culture, like what did you guys think?
Well, I guess so. I mean, when I started watching the movie, I got hooked pretty quickly into it, which is why I ended up watching the sequel right after it.
Nice. Yeah, we'll save it for later. But yeah,
shooting robots.
Yeah,
I was like, this is actually like pretty interesting, and I like
Curious where they go. Yeah.
And I was hooked the whole time, and the beginning being more suspenseful because you have what's his name?
Reese.
Kyle Reese.
No.
Arnold?
HK. Like, what was
T800.
Is that what it was?
You're talking about the T800, the actual Terminator.
Yeah, Terminator.
Designation model T800. Yes.
Arnold.
Okay, so not HK.
Just Arnold.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay.
The HKs were the flying
okay.
hunter killer things.
Or the tanks.
I thought they were the flying things.
I
Because they
thought-
said, "Oh, we gotta hide under here. They can't. They're blind at night." Yeah.
Oh,
You
okay.
tell
I
stories.
thought the Terminator was known as
The Terminator is the T800 Terminator
it's
infiltrator.
T, okay.
Yeah, it's
So like it was so him going around and killing the first two Sarah Connors. I'm like, yo, like
it's a serious.
are the cops gonna look into this? Are they gonna take it seriously? Or are they gonna-
Cold-blooded killing, man. He's just like, "Hi, you Sarah Connor? Cool." Like that's okay.
Oh yeah, that first one was brutal. It's like Sarah, are you Sarah Connor or whatever the fuck
Yeah.
he says. He's like yes, and then he just whips out.
Well, okay.
But
Talk about
it wasn't one shot though.
It was six.
Like
yeah,
six.
he would like empty a clip. It's like
Yeah,
he
that's
emptied-
overkill.
It was six. Yeah, like 'cause,
And even how he got, like how he was shopping for all the guns, like that. I remember that scene is like.
Well, and the shopkeeper was like, oh,
Yeah.
you really know your stuff.
stuff, and it's like, yeah, he has a database in his brain, and like the whole idea is like, oh, the handguns, you got to have a waiting period, but
He's like, no, you can't do that.
yeah,
No,
he's
sir.
like, he's like, oh well, you can't load the gun. He's like, you can't load the gun. Wrong. I was like, that phrase of how he says wrong, like is like burned in my brain. Anytime when someone's gonna say wrong, and then just shotgun to the chest, like done. Oh man, and what I loved, this is oh sorry, keep going. Yes, so it hooked you completely from the beginning.
Yeah, it hooked me. And then what is that?
We'll talk about that later. Yeah. Spoiler alert: Danny, our info guy, is looking up and he's like, "Hey, there used to be a Universal Studios attraction for this." I was like, "Yes,
That's
it was."
the only thing I also remember. Like I
It was based
remember
off
seeing
the
like some of
Based
those
off the
scenes.
second movie, because the second movie is
yeah.
amazing.
I think I vaguely remember that going.
Like I remember going in at
Okay.
some point, like as a kid, but
I don't think I ever went, but I remember just seeing it there.
I did a couple times. It was fun.
And then later on, where because you have what's his name, Kyle.
Kyle Reese.
So Kyle, I also kind of thought like that he was involved in some way, in a bad way, but then I'm like, no, like he it can't be that because he's human. I would assume he's not a bad guy.
Yeah, because he was out here stealing stuff, beating up cops, and you're like, okay, that guy also has
Yeah.
like no moral compass, right? Like
And then,
he's just going out here for some mission.
following Sarah in that one scene where she goes into the that
Club.
one like club.
Yeah, she's in the club and then she's all freaked out, like calling from the club, like, dude, what are you doing there? It's like there's a guy who keeps following me. It's like, yeah.
The 80s club.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I think
Like something noir, I forgot what it was called.
tech noir.
Tech noir.
Is it
yeah.
tech noir?
Yeah.
At first I was also like, all right, both of these are probably like coming in to do the same type of mission.
Yeah,
But then-
I thought maybe he had a mission to also kill her,
Like, just in case, like,
but for
for them.
something else. But
And
yeah.
then towards the middle, and then I was like, wait, maybe someone else. Like obviously at that point I was like, all right, he's a good guy.
What day
but,
is it?
But who? And then
What year? I love that.
Isn't
That
that-
line's always like, what year? It's just like, that's awesome.
It's like those prank videos that I don't know if you guys have ever seen those prank videos. It's like the time traveler prank, and they come out of nowhere. They're wearing period appropriate clothes.
Where do you
I feel
think
like-
they got it from?
And it's like-
yeah, I feel like that's
It's
where
like
like,
that, yeah.
That's where they got it
It's like,
from.
what
guys.
year is it? It worked, but it's like it worked.
Yeah.
My time machine worked.
I'd written it down. What
Yeah.
day? What year?
Yeah, what day? What year? It's just like the cops is like, I don't know. What are you talking about? Like 1984, dude. I don't know. It's freaking
And
hilarious.
then you have the score at that point, like while they're coming in from the future.
Dude, the score for the entire movie. Is
Oh, yeah,
great. Like that is like set up like the whole like that plus John Carpenter's like synthwave kind of stuff with those movies like really established like what a lot of
You mean
80s
tech noir?
maybe like that like synthwave, dark wave thing came up, like really established what a lot of movies in the 80s sounded like. For good reason. Like that the movie that like does that boom, 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 like just like it's like 4 little boom, 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 boom. Like that every time like the Terminator's walking, just
Like
boom,
the intro credits,
boom,
it has
boom,
that.
boom. Yeah, and then that has the boom, 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 boom. Like it's legit, and you're like, damn, this is really like that was there. Like, oh, that to me always hooked me as a kid. I was like, freaking, oh, this is awesome Terminator. But then like the cold robotic Arnold walk and then with the boom, 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 you're like, oh, this is freaky. Like this is for sure like a robot. Like this is, I'm sorry, a cyborg.
Music to pump iron to.
Yeah, and and then the chase music is like that's great. Like every
like
time
a video game.
Yeah, like where do you think the video games got it from? Like Brad Fiedel like made the like an iconic theme with the Terminator theme, and it's too good. But yeah, Danny, like some of the stuff that kind of like stuck to you watching this movie, like you're thinking is like, man, like what did you think?
I really liked it. I didn't think. I had a totally different movie pictured in my head. I don't know why.
Really?
Like,
What did you have pictured?
I thought it was gonna be like just all out guns ablazing, like robots fighting a war.
Kind of what? Well, the guns blazing part.
There were
No, but
flashbacks.
I'm saying like
thought
those
that was the
flashbacks
movie.
was the whole movie, but like
Oh.
I don't know. In a
flashbacks or
weird.
flash forward?
Yeah,
Oh,
flash
the
forward
flash-
flashback. Well, they're flashbacks if you're Kyle Reese.
The
They're
main
flash
movie.
Yeah.
forwards
Oh,
if
main
you're
movie
Reese.
is a flashback.
And timeline wise,
It's a flash forward. Yeah, like those scenes were like really like unsettling to me.
like when the movie started, I think it started with maybe in the first couple minutes there was like the future scenes where it's like 2029.
Yep.
I was like, okay, I think this is where like the whole movie is gonna be set in that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh wait, no.
Well, I knew the movie took place, when it came out in the current year, or it was like modern.
Yeah.
But I knew there was like a future because I think I remember part of the plot. Like before I watched the movie, there being like a whole time travel and Sarah Connor is like the key to everything and all this stuff. Like I remember that before watching the movie.
Like I knew the name Sarah Connor. Obviously, I just didn't know like.
Yeah, and then having seen trailers for like the more recent ones that came out in the last few years, like growing up, and them mentioning things like going back in time and mentioning Sarah
spoiling
Connor,
yourself?
it's like
Spoilers.
I was a kid, I was a teenager, or I was a
but
kid.
You remember it.
Well, yeah, I have a good memory.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Just erase it.
But yeah, it was different than what I thought. But to my surprise, I actually really really enjoyed it. I like I'll say it was like a slow pace in the beginning.
Yeah.
But I like that build up and
It's
then
that like,
obviously
like a predator stalking its
Yeah.
prey.
And they didn't like spell it out for you either. You're still kind of trying to
figuring
figure
out
what's
who's
happening.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this dude's killing people with this lady's same name.
Yeah. And you're like, why?
And this dude is stalking this girl who I guess her name is Sarah Connor. Like, look at that. And then you get to the club scene and, the guy whips out an Uzi and this other guy grabs out a shotgun and you're like, whoa, they're fighting each other. And then this guy sleeps. He's like, he hits you with the iconic, come with me if you want to live.
Yeah.
And then like, when they're running away in the car, like the coolest, I love the one like kind of like speech that Kyle Reese tells her from the beginning. He's just like, dude, that Terminator is out there. The whole, like, I'm going to paraphrase it, but it's just like, it can't be bargained with, reasoned with, doesn't feel pity, remorse, or fear, and it absolutely will not stop until you are dead. Yeah.
In the car, right?
Ever.
Yeah.
And she's just like, what the hell? Like, freaking out. And remember, he got some good shots on him.
Yeah.
On it. And so that's where you get the iconic, like, his eye, the Terminator's eyes all like
the red eye.
Yeah, the red eyes are exposed. So he's like, shit, I need to get something. And he grabs the sunglasses, and now you get the iconic sunglasses and the rest of it, the biker fit in that room that he's just like, I guess, took over, and no one said anything about it. It's just like, okay, yeah, they killed.
Oh, where he was like trying to repair himself.
Yeah.
Not repair, but yeah.
Yeah, and then that's where you get all the like beginnings of that and all the
the
models.
bathroom with the mirror.
Yeah, the bathroom in the mirror. Like you get a lot of these cool like Stan Winston models. That's where like he really like got famous and like really
because
broke on his
was
own.
that there was a part there where he's
animatronics there.
I know it's
Okay,
animatronics,
yeah.
but he's looking at himself in the mirror. The hands are real.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
that's actual. That's Arnold's hands, or maybe whatever stand in
Usually when they had
on with an animatronic, unless he was standing behind it
animatronic head
and doing
yeah.
when
like,
they
'Cause you
had
could
the
tell in
makeup
the
on the
mirror,
eye.
like
Whenever
it looked
different,
like like a lot of makeup, but it was like
it wasn't on him. Whenever they
animatronic
had
whatever
the
figure.
hole in the eye and like showing
Yeah.
some of the robotics,
Yeah.
it was an animatronic.
Yeah, it was all
head.
animatronic.
They would always zoom in on the head only, and then
Yeah,
like
and then
they
show
would
the mirror.
they would show another scene and come back to it, and then it would be Arnold's
Yeah,
face.
like when he turns
slightly
around,
different,
and,
yeah.
he says the thing to the tenant or whatever.
Yeah, because the guy's like, remember he's
For
looking
the-
through like all different lines he could say back, and he's like, what's gonna be the right one? F you asshole. Like it's just like, and like he says it so like
It's like
robotic.
those video games where you could choose.
Yeah, it's Fallout. It was a
Yeah.
Fallout text. And Fallout Mass Effect, like,
Choose what to say.
line, choose what to say. You're like, oh, the guy's like, that dude was like, God dang, okay. And even when he gets out and like he's just whips out the big rifle, people are like, I'm not with that guy. Like, holy, like those people were smart. They're just like, I'm not getting in the way. Forget that noise. Like, get out of here.
Because that scene, like when he was saying that, like you were saying, Anthony, that he turns his head and it's him, but they turn back in the mirror. Yeah, it's
And that's why he
animatronic.
puts the glasses on, so then it could just be Arnold in glasses.
yeah.
Yeah.
But, like they already showed you earlier that like.
And then the second movie did
covering
it a
up the
little differently
robotic
in the
eye.
end there too.
well,
where-
they actually used a lot of makeup on
yeah,
him, and
so
it looked much better. Him.
Yeah,
For sure.
But it was like bulging out, which looked
Yeah.
proportionally it was off because his eyes were in.
Yeah, his eyes more in, but this one out. But yeah,
Yeah.
the effect, like for it being of the time, like the effects work. Like they still work. You
Yeah.
can tell they're dated, but it's not like, oh, this is rinky dink. It's like, hey, like they're being creative and imaginative with some of the stuff, and
Yeah.
you get to see more of that later on, even towards the end of the movie.
And that goes to show, like, back in that time, like, what they had to, like, come up with,
Mhm.
with what they had, or the budget
Yeah.
they had, like, and it still kind of holds up to this day. Like, yeah, you know, certain things are, like,
Yeah,
you
you
can
have
tell.
The few
But-
like, stop motion scenes.
Yeah, but you get the idea, and it's not, like, bad in a sense where it's like, nah, I can't watch this, you know, but...
Yeah. I mean, like, no, it's so cool because like the concept and the idea is not burned in as like,
Yeah.
you know, like why is this girl so important? It's like, oh, because your son is the savior of the human race in the future, and it's like, what the hell? It's like, yeah, dude, like
I don't have a kid.
you don't have a kid. You're like, yeah, that's why you need to stay alive. Like, this is the idea. And she was just like, I don't know, am I supposed to know who this guy is? Like, what if I scared him away? If I scared him away or something? I just mess
But
up
that was
everything?
the whole story, like, when they were under the overpass, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
under the-
And he was giving her the idea of
And the
what
rich
life
downtown.
was like in the what that like in the future, and that's where you see more of the flash forward. Like you have some of the extra scenes of like him, like and the soldiers at night, and like the people
Or
in the
going
car
in the bunker
in
at
the
the
bunker,
bottom.
yeah. And like they're talking about like he's having nightmares of like Terminator units going in there and just like, you know, killing civilians and stuff. Like I remember all of there. Like I remember watching that. I was just like, dude, someone do something. Like he's going to town. Like someone help. Someone. And then he wakes up from the nightmare. You're like, damn, that's rough. Like what a rough existence. Like that really sold it on like the emotional like stakes of just like, man, this guy's out here. Like he's hell bent on getting it done. Because even when they get captured by the cops after the first like car chase, he's telling them is it's like, oh yeah, it's a one-way trip for me. Like this is it. Like there's no going back, obviously, because I didn't invent this. So
There's no way to get back.
yeah, I have no way to get back, so I have a mission to do. And he tells him the story, and then the psychologist is just like, oh, the guy's insane. Oh, he's wacko. Like he's like, I've never seen anybody with such a committed committed to the delusion and everything. And then, you know, that they think they're safe or whatever. And he's like, nah, dude, this guy's still out there. And
then they were proven wrong.
and they were proven absolutely wrong. That whole police station got murked. Absolutely.
I'll be back.
By the car first.
Yeah. He hits
He's
him
like,
with the I'll
He's
be
like,
back.
I'll be back.
So fun story about that line is Arnold tried to ask James Cameron to say like I will be back because he was having trouble saying I'll be back, and James Cameron's like, are you a screenwriter? No, just do the line. Like just listen and do the line. He ends up being right because it's like, hey, that line was freaking iconic. And it's just like, oh yeah. And but apparently James, because of the issues with the accent, he's like, oh, we're gonna do it as much as it takes to make sure like we'll get the best one out of it. So like make him feel a little bit better about it. In the end, he's like, yeah, it worked. Like this freaking iconic scene. I'll be back.
But
Like,
what was the original line? Or
I'll be back. Arnold wanted to say, "I will be back."
I will be back.
Yeah, Arnold
Okay.
wanted to say
So,
that.
so he couldn't do the
I'll be
conjunction
back.
or-
Yeah, the
Contraction.
contraction. Of
there
it,
you go,
of say,
contraction.
I'll be back. But it came out right. You guys saw, and you're like, "Oh, that's where that line comes out," and then boom,
Oh yeah, that I knew. Yeah.
and then
And he was back.
Like I knew
And
the
then he
line,
came back.
honestly, too.
he
Yeah.
came back with a car.
Somebody should have told that guy to get down. but they didn't.
No, he did it. It wasn't. We weren't there. It wasn't 1987. It's not Predator yet.
What was weird, and this is a goof about that scene. So when they're showing like the shot between like the officer and the car, like they keep jumping back. When they show the shot of the officer, the headlights are on. When they show the car, the headlights are off.
Don't ask questions. Yes,
And they kept doing
that is
it.
absolutely a goof. Yes, I'm aware of that goof.
Machines, man.
But it's
Machines.
hilarious. Yeah, the machines did it. Yeah, and like and that's where the whole thing like there's a massive manhunt for this guy and blah blah blah. And there's just murdered an entire police station at the same time. That's where Sarah and Kyle like escape. He gets money somehow. He's like, don't ask questions. We're going to go to the motel. We got a dog, so the dog can sniff out the fact that the Terminator knows what's going on because
I thought that was a cool.
yeah, he's like, we used
cool
dogs
addition.
back then, in the future we use dogs.
Forward then? Not back then.
Yeah, forward then.
To him back.
I mean, to
Upcoming
him,
then.
it's
Or
back
to him,
forward.
it's back then because time travel,
I
guys.
guess.
Yeah, her future is his past.
Exactly. Yeah, and like basically, yeah, her future is his
Put that on a
past.
t-shirt.
Yeah, it sounds like a generational.
Look, I mean, and there are times where she's just like, you can tell like she's kind of getting a little bit of the things because hey, this guy saved my life twice. Hey, what are the girls
Like,
like
it's
in the
starting to
future?
build up
And you're
at
like,
that
oh,
point,
there you
yeah.
go.
And he's
But-
jacked.
And he's also a freaking Michael Bain is freaking Jax. You know,
I figured that because obviously like she has a son in the future where he's from.
yeah.
I figured that he was gonna be the father when the picture showed up.
When he
Yeah.
he had
Like,
the
when-
picture, he's like,
yeah.
"This is you," and this is why like
I'm
you're
like,
able to.
because he mentioned that John Connor never mentions his father
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
he never talked about his father.
you never
Yeah.
knew his father that much. I'm
Or
like,
at all.
or at all. Yeah. Well, I mean, even
But
though
he
Sarah
did.
left like the recordings that we see at
Technically,
the end
he
of the
did.
first movie.
Where did
but,
he keep the photo though? Was it in his mouth?
No, I think it was like
No,
maybe
it
in
was
his
like a-
pocket.
like a-
Jack in a pocket.
But like
He's a soldier. He was wearing a lot of gear.
Remember, he came in naked. Oh no, sorry, that was in the future. The picture's
Yeah.
in the future.
Yeah.
And then when the
And then burnt
Terminator,
up.
the Terminator came up, and then that's when the picture burnt up.
That
That's
Terminator
right.
that came and shot up everybody in that scene, that wasn't a T-800 because it had like flowing hair and everything. It didn't look like Arnold at all.
No, it wasn't a
looked
T-800
like
model, but it was
somebody-
another infiltrator
Yeah, it
model.
just looked
Yeah,
like somebody
whatever.
else.
That's the.
I thought it was
getting nerding out.
I thought it was
yeah.
like a human, just like
Yeah.
wrecking
Fuck it.
shop.
Yeah, no.
I hate people.
He's a no, because remember that they talk about the dogs, like figure out, and then the dogs are like, "Hey, what's going on?" And then he kills the dogs. He's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, man, I can't tell them it's me." So yeah, that,
wait, did he have a picture on him?
that was
In the
only in
present?
the future. No,
Okay,
not in the
it was
present.
okay, yeah,
It was
okay, it
not
was
in the
in the
present.
future.
He knows
Yeah,
what
'cause
she
you said
looks
that.
like because of the picture. That's
Yeah.
why he's like, "I find Sarah
I've been
Connor.
staring
Okay,
at you
that's
for
her."
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been staring at you for years, and I'm in love with you, Sarah. Like that was
Yeah.
like, oh, I should have said that. She's like,
That
nah,
was
buddy.
the line. I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not. She's like, oh, buddy,
You're
you
about to
gonna
get it
get
on.
some today,
You're gonna get it
and
on.
then we gonna get it on. Yeah, and then they had that going
Should
on.
have played.
You know, take my breath away.
Yeah, take my breath away. Twice.
Boom, boom. No, that song wasn't made yet. It was in '86.
They would have made it for that.
They
movie.
would've made it for
and
that
then used it in Top Gun.
Oh man, yeah, and then like again another car chase scene, and there were times I was like, oh, like I thought like, damn, this is when Kyle was gonna die.
Real car chases.
Yeah, they had
Real
real
cars.
car chases with real cars. The whole man, I loved it how like he got like the T-800 got hella ran over, and they're like, "Oh no!" And then they come back, and he's like, "Nope, buddy, get out of the car. Like you dead." Like, and then he just took over the truck and with the tanker and just went after him.
Yeah.
What I liked was that like even though Kyle got like a little shot, I was like, dude, that guy's just making pipe bombs, and he had one. He's
Oh,
like, I'm
yeah.
gonna stuff it in there. That was a
He was
dope
making
scene.
bombs like.
Because he came on the corner. He didn't. It wasn't in the exhaust pipe. He put it somewhere else.
He put it somewhere like under the
In a
fuel
tube
tank.
or
Yeah, the
something.
tube that was
Yeah.
under the fuel tank.
under the tank, so that way when it blows, it blows.
Yeah, and it just went bam. So then that scene, you were like, oh snap, he's probably dead. Did you guys think that was like, oh, it's the end of the movie?
No.
No, definitely not. Because
no.
I'm like, we haven't seen the endoskeleton.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
haven't seen that yet.
Okay, so you
I
were
figured-
Because
aware.
I know that there's like the iconic pictures and the scenes with the full endoskeleton.
Okay.
And
I
we haven't
figured
seen. I'm like,
if
okay,
anything,
there's
maybe
still
it was
more.
gonna be like in the follow-up movie. Like maybe they would just do like a little bit in this one.
More, yeah.
But I knew it definitely wasn't gonna be the end. It was gonna be like it's kind of like those like Michael Myers killer movies.
Yeah,
like,
you're
you
like,
think
oh,
you
we
killed
got
him,
him.
and then
Oh,
they come
no.
back, and then you gotta kill him
You
again.
gotta kill him again. Yeah.
But now in a grandiose way.
Yeah, dude. So what's pretty out of hand is he survived. Obviously, it's 800 survives, and it's just the skeleton just like, again more
he
Stan
gets out of the
Winston,
thing,
Stan Winston
it's like stop
animatronic,
motion.
and
And
then
then
I'm coming.
it had
well, that part is animatronic, and then
Yeah.
and then when it's just a shot of him, like in a separate
him walking
angle,
and stuff, it's stop motion,
Stop
yeah.
motion, yeah.
And then it had that repeating sound, like each time he would like go. It,
Dude,
like
and you're that again. It's just and even when he's banging on the door to get through, it's like, dude, this is freaky. Like, and you saw, it's just like, is he gonna break through? And he's breaking through the freaking sliding door. It's out of hand. Like, again, back to the thing. He will not stop until you're dead. Like, it will. It has the mission, and it is programmed in until it is dead. Yeah, like, and that was pretty cool. Like, even after the explosion and whatever, like, Kyle, gave his life for one last pipe bomb. And it blew up this man and this thing in half. I remember going, I was like, oh, cool, now he's dead. Like, okay, cool, that's it, game over. Nope, like the torso is coming out and it starts grabbing at her, and she has her leg broken because she fell. She's like, damn it, I can't move. And then,
the typical,
yeah, the typical, yeah. But like, that's understandable. Like some of these other horror movies, like, oh no, I slipped. This one's like, oh, I survived a pipe bomb, like exploding nearby me. Like that's fair. And she stepped up. Hit him with the compressor at the very end. He said, "You're terminated, son." Hit him with another iconic line. It's like the boy's terminated, and then like that was at that scene too. Again, I think they pretty much used that practical as well, like with the compressor at the very end in the factory. And it was funny too that they're powering on machines to like help hide from a killer machine.
Yeah.
To sense it. Yeah. Why do they? What was the reason that they gave?
Confuse it with the noise and everything around there to help mask.
Not be able to.
Not be able to track it. Yeah, because if they're just like running and tapping, like, oh yeah, it's over here. It's when everything else is on in the factory. Why not? But do you remember if when they used the model, they actually like hit it with a compressor and like did that
like an actual hydraulic press?
I'm pretty sure they did.
Yeah,
that was an actual because they did have a model of it.
Yeah. Just make sure that was like the final scene.
They only did the stop motion for when it was like walking toward them.
Yeah.
The
funny
what I was mad about how every time he was like wasting his bombs.
Yeah.
Oh, on the car chase, right?
The car. I was like, dude,
just
after the second one,
like
you needed to have stopped. To like, you're wasting way too many.
Yeah.
He kept missing.
He got shot in one of those.
Yeah, that's how he got hit.
Trying to throw the
He's
other
like,
one,
oh man. I mean, yeah. But we talked about how we blew up the tanker, yeah, and that's where we get the freaky, yeah. So. And yeah, all that at the very end, like Kyle died, unfortunately.
I feel like we saw that coming.
Yeah, we understand.
He was too close to the explosion.
Yeah, it's like that, which made sense. But the whole
I think it would have died
aftermath
from
of it.
just like the gunshot wound. So.
Well, that was.
he
that
was
didn't help.
close to
partially
die.
that, but also the explosion.
Like, he shoved it. He like shoved it in its like stomach, and then was like trying.
Oh yeah, he put it like.
And then he was like on the floor crawling away. It's like there's no way you're gonna have enough time to crawl away from it. Then
you have to there's no way.
I thought he had like flipped down the stairs.
He flipped because of the explosion.
Oh,
He
okay.
probably got sent him over.
I forgot.
And that's why it's just he's gone. He gave his last breath to do it. But what's really cool is then he talks about Sarah. You got to be strong. And at the end, she took the fate in her hands, killed the Terminator, and ran off to Mexico.
Humans took it down.
Yep.
So. She got a dog at the end.
She got a dog, and she's pregnant.
And she's pregnant, and she got the photo.
And she got the photo.
The photo was cool at the end. I was
no way. The whole thing is basically an example of what's known as the bootstrap paradox. Yep. The whole idea of just like if John Connor has to send Kyle Reese back so he could father himself, which then brings all these other things into place. And then the Terminator also had to go back in time to then get destroyed, to then they get the cybernetic stuff, to then create Cyberdyne systems.
Because if it didn't go back in time, they would have never created
the Cyberdyne to begin with. Yeah. Well, had hurt yet? Yeah, exactly.
Spoilers.
But
yeah, I was gonna say spoilers for 2.
This movie doesn't do like because like time is linear in this case. So no matter what would have happened in the past, nothing would have been changed because it was already determined.
Yes, because the future had to do things in order to go back to make the past.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's already been predetermined. And Anthony's laughing because of how Zach got to this realization.
No. I was laughing at something else.
What? What are you laughing at?
The future costs more money.
That's why Skynet rebelled against the humans, because only for speakers.
Exactly.
And he's just like, no, I'm going to call back. Humans are like, I'm going to call back. and that guy was like, "Oi!" and Skynet blew up the world.
Yeah, this movie, it's not butterfly effect.
No.
Ashton Kutcher movie.
Yeah,
Correct.
This is just straight up. It's going to happen because, I mean,
it's already happened because it needs to happen. Yeah, it's going to happen.
Sarah Connor
because
was
it
never going
already
to die in
happened.
the first place.
Yes.
But it just wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, no matter what, like basically, there's theories.
Well, yeah, because you never know how James Cameron would have done the plot if they were going to allow like altering the timeline. But given that this rule of time travel,
that's why
it was always meant to happen.
Now you understand. Remember back a long time ago we talked about Back to the Future. You've now seen the two quintessential movies that deal with time travel in two different ways.
Yeah.
Basically, one is that you can change things and alter it. Back to the Future, and the other one is no, it's predetermined. There's no way, nothing you ever do will ever change it. And you can delay it, you can try to do whatever, but it's somehow always going to end up getting to be together where it's going to be.
But it's disguised as a movie that could potentially have maybe it could have future altering.
Yeah, the characters believe that they're changing their fates, but. We know as the audiences know they're not. Like even Sarah at a certain point, I guess I should just at least record this and tell you about certain things and be able to talk to you about some stuff. So that now we know also that John knew who Kyle Reese was. That he knows about him, and then it's okay, cool. Like this is the guy I gotta watch out for and send him back.
But Kyle didn't know that he would end up following him.
Yeah. Kyle Reese did not know that at all. So again, that's by design.
Yeah.
And then that end credits, freaking awesome.
So, did you guys know the budget? Did you look it up?
No, pretty small.
I looked it up.
Very small budget.
Like 7 mil.
6.4.
Yep.
Estimated.
6.4. Yeah.
That's insane.
And it made 78 million. I think.
78.3 million
worldwide.
Yeah. So it
a big return.
Massive return. That's why
that's a horror movie type return.
Which one can is it a sci-fi horror action horror movie?
Sci-fi horror.
A sci-fi action thriller? Yeah. But this is the reason why James Cameron got the green light to go ahead and continue with Aliens, which is a much bigger budget. And he even ended up doing with a lot of stuff with ILM with The Abyss, and then that's then we get to one of his magnum opus. If you call it Magnum, one of his the beginning ultimate mega blockbuster, which is Terminator 2: Judgment Day. But we'll save that for another episode.
Real quick before we move on to the next topic, but I wanted to mention these two things. The first one, when we were getting introduced to Sarah when she's in the diner, or whatever.
She's the worst waitress of all time.
But then did you see the kid that dropped the ice cream?
Yeah.
Into
her pocket, apron,
and she just looked and I was like, it was it was another Wednesday.
What a terrible day.
She's like, wow. And I think the guys, the kid's dad was like, funny son. I was like what? At that point,
eat your fries.
At that point, you get to the point you're like, oh, I guess humanity does need to be destroyed.
Yeah,
that's messed up.
It's we need a new. We could accept the Terminator.
Skynet was right.
The kid is named Sarah.
The kid is also Sarah Connor. He comes after the kid with that crazy pistol with the laser sight.
Oh my god,
that's out of hand.
That was a little exaggerated.
With the roommates. Oh, damn.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah.
Well, that's a typical horror movie scene.
I mean, the dude got up there and he's like, oh, when he tried fighting him off, he's like, there's
no.
He just got tossed around.
He got solid. He got mollywopped.
And then another funny line was when the guy says, "Yo, mama."
Random.
as a response.
Yeah.
I forgot what he.
Was that the beginning? Was that Bill Paxton?
No,
that was that was the part where he's just like, look at this guy. He goes, nice night for a walk. Yeah.
No, hold on. I'll find it for you guys later. But I don't know. It was hilarious.
Just, yo, mama. Yeah, there are a couple of lines that are just like, wait, what the heck?
And then
again, sometimes a little cheesy, but the movie is definitely serious.
It has some cheesy moments.
The movie rides the balance so well, dude. It's too good.
Your clothes, give them to me now.
Your clothes. And then that's when they whip out the knife. Ow. And then you can tell this thing is serious because he punched this dude, he punched through his chest. And he's just like, oh man, that dude is hella dead.
That was a Dragon Ball punch.
Yeah, full on in.
Yeah. That was in there.
All right. So what we'll do now is I wanted to bring up 3 things you didn't know about the Terminator.
And by you mean you and Zach.
Sure, because
Sure.
maybe you guys
Maybe
know.
we know? Yeah.
Maybe you could
a little
add
bit
to
of-
the
A
discussion.
little bit of trivia here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So number 3, Arnold was originally going to play Reese.
Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and
would've-
I guess he met with James Cameron and like they kind of like had the good rapport and it was like, hey, like no, I think you can do this role, do the role as the Terminator, and I think and Arnold initially was like, dude, look, well, like he's kind of taken aback because like, hey, I've been in a movie where I have speaking lines, I can do stuff. He was in Conan the Barbarian. He was they had paused filming of this movie because he was doing Conan the Destroyer in '84. Which also came out earlier in '84, but like it was one of those where like, no, like trust me, like this is gonna, this is gonna be it. Like James Cameron had the vision. He knew, man, and
I mean, he's also built for it. Like he could be like a cyborg.
Yeah, it's like you don't have that many speaking lines, but it's like but the presence, like your presence, and
the
it's like
moving,
your demeanor,
the neck
acting
moving,
is-
then the rest
is
of the
more than just
body,
speaking.
that was really like you could see some of that stuff later on, like in RoboCop, for example, like with the way RoboCop moves. It's like it's a lot of that like robotic stuff, but like it's still really hauntingly like almost human, and like it's almost like he looks like a shark first, and then he moves around. Like, it's really freaky.
So who was supposed to play Terminator then? If Arnold was supposed to be
were they just gonna flip it?
I don't think they had anyone. No,
no.
no, I don't think Michael Bain would have.
Then the
Better
Hamilton,
jumping,
she would have
yeah.
done. She would have been the Terminator.
Hamilton. I mean,
Hey, man.
if you watch part 2,
She's awesome.
when you watch part 2, she's definitely terminating with all the pull-ups.
Very strong female character.
That's
they
right.
existed before Hunger Games. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, Aliens. Ellen Ripley
Yeah.
and Aliens again. James
I
Cameron.
know.
Those are all like
You have to
iconic
tell
names.
Jennifer Lawrence that she doesn't realize that.
Yeah, she forgot, but that's okay. All right, part number 2.
Number 2, since you were mentioning not too many speaking lines, Arnold only had 17 lines, and in total, it was only 70 words.
Yep.
Efficient.
Efficient. He's a machine.
He got the point across, and all we needed was "I'll be back."
I'll be back.
Can you quote them all? You guys quote them all. I feel
Quote them all? No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I mean, he already quoted with a nice night for a walk. Like, that was the one I was like,
We
oh,
quoted
yeah.
like 5,
At least 5 or
and that was
Yeah. And that's pretty much it.
But some of them were probably like no, or like probably just like
Wrong.
simple, like
Or
wrong,
F
like
you
one word.
assholes.
Yeah, there you go. That's 5 right there.
That's amazing.
I'll be back, or no. Okay, that's for the
Well,
second one.
there's also like the Uzi, this 9mm. He's talking the guns.
Yeah, you should.
Oh, okay, yeah, true. He's like playing with
I
Terminator. I think he had the most lines in that one scene in the gun
think
shop.
that's the most speaking that he ever did in the entire movie.
Yeah, like in that one scene, I was like,
And then he's
where
like
most
also
of the-
asking like Sarah Connor, that stuff.
Are you Sarah Connor?
Freaking hilarious. Go off a phone. That's why phone books don't exist anymore, guys. Because Terminators can find you easy. All right, hit us with number 1.
Well, what's number 2?
Privacy.
That was number
That was a privacy.
3, number
issue?
2, and then number 1.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just find a phone number on the book. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yo, what up?
All right, and then the last one, James Cameron sold the script for $1 in a deal so he could direct the movie.
Nice. That's the smart play. He sold the
I feel like I
screenplay.
heard about that one, but I'm not sure.
What studio ended up releasing this or like
Universal,
would
right?
distribute it? Was it Universal?
Orion Pictures
Orion.
distributed it.
Yeah.
Production companies were Hemdale, Pacific Western Productions, Eurofilm Funding, Cinema 84.
Orion is owned by MGM.
Oh.
That makes sense now. Yeah, it's a joint venture between Warner Brothers and people that used to be a United Artists. Cool. A little piece of trivia that I learned something new today. But yeah, sold it for $1 so he can direct it, and that helped put his name on the map
For sure.
for sure. Now look at this guy. He's out here, taking sanctioned underwater dives down to the Titanic. He's making billion-dollar movies over the span of a decade. And he's still going strong and creating some really massively
All
entertaining,
the avatars.
yeah, massively entertaining blockbuster films, and puts his hands in some other stuff too.
When did Predator come out?
87.
Okay, so he did this one first then, before that one.
Yeah, Arnold did this before Predator. Like, and then 85, you get Commando. Like, you get some of the other, like, okay, Arnold's hella like ultra actions. Like
had that
this
80s
like
run.
the 80s run of ultra action stars. Like
But yeah,
him.
this was like his prime where he was still young enough that he was like built like a truck. Because then I think into the 90s and 2000s was when he was getting older and like becoming more out of shape. I mean, he's still a huge dude.
Yeah.
It's just mostly skin.
Check this out very quickly before, James Cameron, again, also being a prolific screenwriter, he co-wrote this, he has co-credits on the screenplay for Rambo First Blood, or Rambo 2, First Blood Part 2, with him and Sylvester Stallone. So, again, the guy's got he knows how to direct the action, too. That movie's kind of out of hand, too. But he basically wrote Rambo 2 and Aliens at the same time.
Oh wow!
Yeah, man. The dude in the 80s was firing on all cylinders.
He's like, these are gonna make me pop.
Yeah, he's like, I know this. It's gonna be good. It's too good, man. He's too good. All right, so final guys, ratings. If you're gonna give it a 1 out of 10 Skynet, how would we rate this?
1 out of 10 T models.
1 out of Are you gonna give it a T10, T4, T2?
Judgment Day.
That's weird. I don't know how we're doing this.
I don't know. You could just say T800 for an 8. I don't know.
Yeah, 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. Come with me if you want to live. No.
I give it a what's the good one?
Yeah, what would you give this, Zach?
I'm gonna give this a
Cyborg eyeball.
Ooh. I'm trying to think of a clever line to compare this to. Ooh, it's gonna be a 9 F you assholes out of 10.
Okay, all right, cool. We got him with the goods. Yeah, I know how to pick them. Well, that's also a classic. Danny?
Well, this movie. Well, I'll talk about it after. Go ahead. No, I'll say it after we say it.
Yeah, I'll give it a 9. It has a good mix of like sci-fi, slasher, tech. I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought it was just a cool mix.
Yeah, it's like a cyber, semi-cyberpunk, but like again, like it's not like a technically like a what is it, tech noir, similar to like Blade Runner or something, but it's more like actual science fiction built into that. Yeah,
has a good score. Has some good lines.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, all around pretty solid. I could see why it lived up to the hype.
Absolutely.
And even like watching it now for the first time in 2023, I'd say it still holds up.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would personally give it a 2029 out of 10.
Ooh.
Yeah, see what I did that? I did the year. No, it's definitely 2029 out of 10. Yeah, it's just I definitely watched this movie before when I should have actually watched this when I saw this movie. Like,
you were under 17.
I was under 17 when I watched the movie. Don't tell James.
Me too.
Don't tell the motion picture. Don't tell the MPAA ratings people.
Same with the second one. I was very young when I saw the second
The
one.
second one is,
And I shouldn't have.
the second one, obviously, because the first one has like sexy time stuff, but the part 2 is just straight up violent.
So I saw it on TV, so that's probably why
So
I
you never saw that part.
So when it
Yeah.
happened, I was like, oh, I didn't know this was in this movie.
I remember, I remember that because it was on cable, but like it was on bootleg cable I used to have. But part 2 is definitely more just like overall like explosions. There's a lot of shooting, violence,
And cursing.
and cursing. Yes. But this movie's incredible. Like, this movie's amazing. It is. If then people who like never seen it, it's gotta be like, hey, you should watch it, because not only is like it's entertaining, it's got a lot of different emotions, but like it, because of how well it's written with the whole like bootstrap paradoxes going on, it always, one of those movies that will always then end up making you think, or at least make you think about it, or like try to poke holes. Like, I'm gonna figure out this out. Like, no, there's no way this, but like it's
like
too
while
good.
you're watching it, you're like thinking like,
You're like, oh, this stuff in the future. How did that happen? What about this? And what's gonna happen here? And it's really good.
good old future,
Future past time travel shenanigans. That's right.
6 more years, man.
Yeah,
6 more years.
6 more years till the day, or till whatever. Anthony, any final thoughts?
Well, was it 1995 in the movie 1997 or 1995? No, what year was it that everything started happening? It was like August 29th, 1995. There's like a major event that happened.
August 29th of 1997. He begins to become self-actualized and then becomes self-aware at 2:14 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, I think that was when the...
And that's when it started getting the nuclear launch codes, and it just started blowing stuff up.
In the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night, yeah. Coward.
Thanks.
Damn it.
That's my sister's birthday. Not 97, but in 01. That's my sister's birthday. August 29th, funny enough.
Yeah.
01. Did you give it a rating already, Anthony?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. What's your rating?
I very good movie. I think I would give it an 8. Only because
Terminator.
Terminator. It's only because part 2 exists.
T800, yeah, and because I saw part 2 first,
Oh.
and even the fact that I saw part 2 way too young.
I mean,
it came out 91. I think I saw it in 92. I don't know how I watched it.
Wait, you saw part... Oh, yeah, we saw it in the theaters.
I was born 87. I guess I was just in the room when my parents were watching it, and they probably figured, like, oh, he's not going to understand what's going on. I mean, I didn't, but the thing is, I remembered a lot of what happened. I always... Well, I can't say what happens in the second one. But yeah, so since that was the first one I watched, I hold that one to, like, a much higher regard.
Well, Judgment Day came out 91, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Dude,
big jump in
like
between.
before, yeah. Again, I don't want to get too into it, but just even the teaser for that movie was hype as all get out. Like it's just like the way the T800s were being assembled, like for the endoskeleton. It was just like dun, 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 Terminator 2. You're like, oh,
but that wasn't in the movie.
That was like in that.
The assembly part, like that scene that you're talking about, it wasn't in the actual movie because I don't remember.
I don't know, not in part 2, but it's just that they made that exclusively for a teaser, and it was hype as all get out. Like it was out of hand
somewhere.
Yeah, you'll find the teaser. It's easy to find.
Yeah, I'm sure it's on YouTube.
Now that you brought that up, watching Terminator 2 before the first one, it's actually a pretty cool way to.
I think a lot of people
to watch it in that order.
I think a lot of people did that. Like that ended up being the case for a lot of people. Like
because Terminator 2 made
so much
like
more.
8 times the amount of money that the first one made.
I watched
because the first one was good. Like it was like a.
I was lucky to watch part 1 before part 2. Like as a kid, like as I shouldn't, but like I watched part 1 first and then part 2, and it makes it's a great experience either way. Yeah.
But the budget for the second movie was also like over 10 times the amount.
Yeah, it
was like $90 million plus budget.
Yeah, but it was
and then
worth it.
Then the box office was like 500
million. Yeah. It was a tour de force.
Worth it.
Now, what I wanted to add to about since we're rating ourselves.
Yeah, before we go to next week.
So this is one of the few movies that Rotten Tomatoes has given a perfect 100%.
Really?
Is it
the first one?
The first one, 68 reviews, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
I also did not know that.
And the second one?
The second one,
I think it's like 91%.
91?
It's like 91%.
That should have been a part of the trivia.
They didn't like being hit with the friggin'
It's one of the very few
kneecaps.
movies to have the 100%. There have been plenty of other movies, of course, after, but not that many. So Judgment Day was,
but like
91%,
major
yes.
blockbuster movies like that. Not many have
absolutely,
100.
yeah.
I didn't know Rotten Tomatoes was around back then.
No, they
No, I think they just like probably.
Oh, okay.
they
So
did
it wasn't like
Rotten Tomatoes has been
reviewers
around
from
for like
30 years ago.
25 years.
They went back to the future in the past.
They were 30 back then, reviewed, and they're all like in their 60s now.
No, I think Rotten
I
Tomatoes.
gave that movie 100.
Rotten Tomatoes began in like the late 90s, like somewhere between 97 and 99. But they have reviewed older movies since they
As they should.
founded or were founded. But yeah, 100%. That's
Nice.
That's pretty
solid.
rare.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
100%
Too bad it doesn't go with the name Terminator.
Terminator.
Terminator 100.
Terminator 100.
And then other movies would include like Toy Story and like Toy Story 2, Toy Story 1. Like
Gotta
those
be
are
3.
100%.
What about 3?
I think Toy Story 3 was like 98, 99.
Yeah.
I think Toy Story 3 was also 99%.
You gotta find them.
Yeah, but the first two are 100.
Yeah, the first two are 100%.
You gotta find them, Anthony.
The second one, the 3 and 4 are like 99%.
That's fine.
Freaking
That's
hilarious.
All right. So X, what movie are we discussing next week?
I actually don't know because I picked this one.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
Yeah.
he had picked this one. So it's whose turn? is it?
we're skipping the person for the next week, right?
Oh, that's right. We're skipping it because we got really massive hype coming up for this week. Coming up for us
so
that are being recording. So we're
kind of in conjunction with this movie.
Yeah,
sort
we're
of
jumping over into this
Talking
kind of
about
stuff. Yeah, talking about AI and robots. Our boy Gareth Edwards has gone out, has been out of it for a little while. You know, went and made
a little known
movie called Rogue One and a Godzilla. And
Monsters.
Not Kingdom Monsters. Oh yeah, and Monsters. He made Monsters. Yes. So we're gonna be going off his next movie, which is getting a lot of rave reviews. So we gotta get on top of this and get on the bandwagon here. We're gonna talk about The Creator, starring John David Washington. It's our boy from Tenet.
Is this movie based off a book or is it original?
I think it's original.
It's an original screenplay by Gareth Edwards and Chris Weitz.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw somewhere that it was based off a book or something. Oh, okay.
Well,
original.
they're writers, but let me see if I don't think it's based off of anything. But like a lot of the inspiration for this movie is going to be really good. Like there's a lot of really good things that he's picking from. So like, you know, some of his inspirations are Apocalypse Now, Blade Runner, Akira, which is kind of out of hand, Rain Man, believe it or not, E.T., and even Paper Moon. So this will be fun.
Trailers look good. And then I don't know if you guys have seen that crazy marketing that they've been doing.
Oh, they're everywhere.
Getting-
They were at NASCAR.
Yeah, they're at NASCAR, at a football game.
getting-
Oh, it was a
popcorn.
football game. That's the other one I was trying to
Yeah.
remember.
It was actually at a Dolphins game.
Wait, it was at the Dolphins game here,
Not
man?
this one, but the
Oh, the one in
one
LA.
like
a couple
Or
weeks
no,
ago.
It's the one in LA.
They
That
missed out.
makes sense.
They missed out.
They could have done it here.
Yeah, but
Like Miami.
yeah, I'm excited for this one. At least with the trailers.
The
pretty
reviews look
happy.
good. The crazy thing about the trailer, I think the first trailer that came out, they used a clip from the...
I heard there was a controversy on it.
Yeah, because they chose a piece of the explosion that happened in Beirut. There's a scene where it's like the camera and the rooftop, and like you can I think Corridor Digital did talked about it. And they showed the actual
explosion of the port in
and the one from the movie.
And they're like,
in the trailer.
yeah.
Yeah,
so-
they just added a few things. It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like a real
Like the same
explosion, but
buildings
also
and everything.
yeah.
Yeah, hopefully,
Yeah,
hopefully it's not.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully they cut it out of the movie.
For some taste.
But
Yep.
man, that's oof. Too soon.
Too soon, yes, indeed.
soon.
But not too soon to at least watch the movie, so we'll go ahead and give it a watch. We're gonna hopefully you stick around for next episode so you get our impressions on The Creator. In the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to everybody's reactions, or in the case of Anthony and I, our thoughts on seeing Terminator once again. If you all have any type of other things that you want to point out, or other things that other pieces of trivia that you'd like to point up and discuss or even share, please go ahead and do so on all our show socials. We're still on the platform formerly known as Twitter. We are on Instagram and Threads. We also release small clips on YouTube. And right now, you're probably listening to us on your favorite podcast platform of choice. So if you have not done so yet, please like and subscribe for some more of this fun content, especially with some of these hot takes from these younger kids here. But lastly, before we go, one of the favorite things that I loved that Terminator influenced was this random... So Far Cry 3 had a random offshoot game called Blood Dragon, and half of the aesthetic is basically from Terminator, and the main character is actually voiced by Michael Biehn. Nice. It's got it's a whole big stuff, like what people thought the future was going to look like in the 80s. Like even the beginning of the game's conceit, it's like, oh, there's a nuclear war in the year 2011. And the game came out like in 2012 or like it came out in like the early, yeah, exactly. That's the whole cheesiness of it. But like it is, it's got the sound effects of like the lasers that were shot in the future like war scenes in the Terminator. The background music is all that creepy synthwave stuff from that's inspired by Terminator. Like it's just you can't see a lot of that stuff that isn't inspired by this movie in particular. So really great, really fun little trivia. I had to nerd out a bit and take over, but you'll hear that stuff over and over, and whenever you listen to those type of like synthwave beats and stuff, you can go back, oh yeah, that sounds like Terminator, hands down. Very cool. So with that, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in, and catch us next time for our episode on The Creator. Thank you so much.
I'll be back.
Hasta la vista. baby.
Get down.